Hey JB, saw the screener, loved it, but here's my notes. Hey, can we cut this soundbite? Track is too monotone. It needs bigger, really punch him in the face. And too swap out for someone. Too sad. Happy. Not enough. Let's back. We're trying out some way voice tracking. Can they on longer? What if?
It's not the critic that counts, but the credit goes to the man who's actually in the arena. Unless the critic is the client. If you're gonna make it as a professional editor in this business, you need to learn to take criticism, to receive notes and feedback from directors and producers and clients. You need to be able to handle that, or else you're just not going to be able to make it. Hey, I'm JB, and I'm here to help you level up your editing game. And I'm gonna give you 5 tips that I use every single day on the job as an editor to help me with this. So let's start this off with number 1. Number 1 is listen. I know that's not your first instinct. Your first instinct is to put up guards, put up the wall, because you don't want your pride to get hurt. You work so freaking hard on this video, and somebody comes in and tells you that your baby, it's pretty ugly. It's got weird face. It's not symmetrical. But before you get all strung out, listen, we can only see as one person. I can only see what I can see. I can kind of lean side to side, but really, I'm not gonna be able to see from another perspective without hearing those other perspectives. We need more perspectives than just our own to make the best videos possible. And let me tell you this, there is actually something worse than bad notes. It's no notes at all. That tells me that the client doesn't really care. The person I'm making this for doesn't at the end of the day really care about the project. I can't think of one single project that I've done where a client has given me no notes and we just push it out into the world, the first draft, and been like, we're super proud of it. Because for me, I know that I could have done better work with some feedback. And I actually enjoy getting that feedback now after so many years of doing this. So that's number 1 is listen. Number 2, my second tip, investigate. When someone gives you a note, what they're really saying, no matter what else is going on, what they're really saying is they are feeling something and they want it to change, whether it's a music change or this tempo isn't working or the edit is too choppy, or all of that is just saying, I'm feeling something and I don't want to feel it anymore. Can we do something about this? So for example, you get a note that says music's too loud. Well, that can mean so many different things. It could be that you've literally run it up so high that it's actually physically hurting their ears and you need to kind of bring it down a little bit, a couple decibels. Or it could mean that, you know what, this is rock music and it's making me feel edgy and uncomfortable, but I really want to feel nostalgic. Those are 2 completely separate emotions happening there. And you could just like pull down the music a little bit and they're still unhappy because they didn't want this style of music. There's so many different ways to interpret. And that's what your job really is to do, is to interpret when you're working with a client, when you're working with a producer and director, is what is this edit that I just made? How is it making them feel? And how can we get to the right place in this? So number 2 is you got to be an investigator to figure out what the real root issue is happening. Number 3, my third tip is filter. You're not going to do everything that every note that comes in a lot of times. Now, sometimes if you only got a few of them and they're good notes, yeah, go for them. But your job, after you've investigated what the real issue is, it's to know, is this a gold nugget idea that they've been giving me, or is it a turd nugget? No, sorry, I've been around my toddler too much, so I've been saying a lot about turd nuggets really. And what is your filter? What is that filter going to be? Well, it's going to be the story, the purpose, the audience, those big filters that you need to know before you even start the project. When you're going over the script and going over the idea with your client or with the director, it's like, what is this scene about? What is this movie about? So then when you get notes and it feels wrong, it's probably because it's violated one of those major filters that you should be using on all of your videos. So after you've listened, after you've investigated what's really going on here, and now you've got your filter of, well, how does this line up and how does this affect the story? Now you're ready for number 4, which is pushback. Some of you need to hear this right now. You can push back. That is actually a sign of being a professional, is that you have opinions and you have ideas of how this thing's supposed to go. And so when you get a note that, hey, I think we should just change this, and they're trying to be helpful, they're trying to give you action items, but you go, you know what? Something is right. I think I know what you want. I've investigated, I've listened, I filtered it, but I think what we really need is over here. And that takes work. That takes some time. You have to gain trust with another director, with a client. That's why if you look at some of the big directors, Steven Spielberg works with the same editor every time because he's built a trust. I've got a friend that I've done 3 feature films with, and we have a lingo, we have a trust. I can push back on almost anything at this point, and we can have that dialogue without our egos being hurt because we know we have each other's backs. So when you're looking at pushing back, especially if you're working with a new client, come back to the vision, come back to the filter. Like, hey, we decided this was gonna be for YouTube. It was gonna hit the 18 to 35-year-old market. That's why I'm choosing this kind of music. It's okay if grandpa doesn't really care for what this style is. I'm telling you, this is gonna be better. That's how you push back in an effective way. And number 5, this might sound counterintuitive, but I want you to show your work early and often. Get your client, get the director, get whoever in early in the process. Because this is what I've found. This idea of I'm gonna gift wrap this magic thing and I'm gonna get all the way till the end until it's 95%, 99%. They can give me one little note, but I know this is perfect. Then you reveal it like Christmas morning. It doesn't work. It over and over again makes them feel a little tricked, a little bit like, what is this? It just doesn't work out well. I found that the earlier I can get them in the process, when it's rough, when it's dirty, I've been able to help course correct that thing a lot better than when I'm just, okay, here's my masterpiece in all its glory, because like I said, your baby has some warts on it, and they could have helped you. You could have spent less time on the After Effects animation because they were going to tell you we don't need titles at all because we are just going to go without them. True story. So the best advice I can give you right here for number 5 is show your work early and often get them in. Sometimes I'll even send them a complete draft of the video I'm working on with only dialogue just to see, are we in the right place story-wise? This is an interview. We've cut it down from 30 minutes down to 3 minutes. Are we telling the right story here? Can we double check that? Okay, cool. Now we can move on. Now I'm going to throw in B-roll and all the music and all the pretty stuff that everybody wants. So that's my tip number 5 is show your work early and often. So those are my tips. Those are a few tips that I found really helpful over the many, many years of doing editing. But what are yours? What are you doing to help yourself deal with all the criticism you're going to get, all of the editing tips and notes and stuff you're going to be getting? Because it's inevitable. It's like gravity. It's going to happen and you can't stop it. So that's it. I'm JB. Thanks for watching. Thank you for doing what you're doing to become a better editor. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Have fun.